I'm not going to pretend to speak for Donovan here because I don't know his feelings towards the organization. I don't know his feelings towards Salt Lake City. I don't know if he has a desire to be in a bigger market. So I want to speak more about, first of all, the job that Quinn Snyder did. That organization after Jerry Sloan and after the Darren Williams trade, they were stuck in the mud there for a number of years. And Quinn Snyder, Dennis Lindsey, through draft picks, and that front office got this organization into a really good place. And Quinn should be applauded for the job that he did. And I get what he's saying here about the team needing a different voice, because my observation throughout this season is that this team felt stale. And sometimes when you go through playoff failure, it can motivate you and it can sort of accelerate and bring the team together. And other times it feels like it pulls you apart. And I lived that a little bit with the Los Angeles Clippers, and I can speak to that. I felt this year this team felt stale. And so I think the question is not should Donovan Mitchell want out. The question should be, what are the goals of the Utah Jazz going forward? If the goal is to win a championship, then you have to restructure this roster. And obviously, Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell are the two guys on this team that probably carry the most trade value. And of course, these two guys, it's been reported, I don't know this firsthand, but it's been reported that there has been some friction between the two of them at times. So you trade one of them and you continue to build and hopefully become a championship contender. Donovan Mitchell, by the way, and I just want to, because I know Stephen A., I know you're a Knicks fan. I know there's a lot of Knicks rumors out there. Donovan Mitchell is a fantastic player. He's been an all-star. He was an asterisk, basically for Rookie of the Year because Ben Simmons was in the second year. But I don't know that him going to the New York Knicks, Stephen, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know that him going to the New York Knicks is going to be that much of a difference maker for the Knicks. Because what made Donovan and the Utah Jazz so good is that pairing with Rudy Gobert. Now, obviously, that pairing, I think, has been maximized, and that's probably second round of the playoffs. That's probably what we're looking at going forward. Mm-hmm. But I just want to give you just a little bit of pause, because I know you may be excited about Donovan Mitchell going to the Knicks. I don't know if he's going to all of a sudden elevate the Knicks into contention.
Listen, man, I have fun on First Take, but when we get into serious issues, I know how to be serious. And the reality of the situation is that the New York Knicks are not an organization that's worthy of Donovan Mitchell. Let's just call it what it is. I'm a native New Yorker. I'm a diehard New York Knicks fan. I root for them. They make me sick to my stomach because I'm emotionally connected to this franchise who repeatedly frustrates me and ticks me off year after year after year, with the exception of a couple of years ago when I would stupidly talk about we here, yeah, finally, and I embarrassed myself with it because I believed enough in the organization. The New York Knicks are a national embarrassment because of James Dolan, and Leon Rose hasn't helped matters any because here you are, you're the president of basketball operations, and you're giving a press conference talking to the media in September, and then nobody finds you until April, and even then you're giving an in-house interview owned by the interview with the network that's owned by James Dolan. So the reality of the situation is World Wide West, Scott Perry, Kenny Payne, Tom Thibodeau, and all of these guys, unfortunately, are stained by the level of ineptitude coming from the top. That's like a damn virus coming down upon everybody, even though that's not the appropriate thing to bring up right now, so I apologize for that in the age of COVID. In the end, what it comes down to is this. They tick me off. They don't deserve Donovan Mitchell. I hope they get Donovan Mitchell. I would be ecstatic about that, JJ, but I am under no illusions. I know that it's a slim to zero chance that they get Donovan Mitchell. I would be ecstatic if they did get him, even if it meant giving up Julius Randle to get him. I would be happy about that in a heartbeat because I think Donovan Mitchell is a star. And by the way, while I'm pointing the fingers at people, y'all do understand that Phil Jackson should not be allowed beyond the borders of New York after passing up Donovan Mitchell with the 8th pick to draft Frank Ntilikina. I was on New York radio screaming about the fact that Donovan Mitchell played for Louisville. This brother could ball. You got the 8th overall pick. You snatch him. And Phil Jackson, all right, bad hips and all, talking about he saw this guy, Frank Ntilikina, play in France, was worthy of being the number 8 overall pick. Phil Jackson, the coach, is a legend. Phil Jackson, the executive, shouldn't be allowed in the state of New York after the atrocity of his performance that he put forth for years running the damn New York Knicks organization. That's all I got to say, because even thinking about it even more pisses me off. So let's move on.
I want to make one point, Stephen, just a sort of a broad generality about something you said when you were talking about Utah not being able to be a free agent destination. You know, one of the reasons that the New York Knicks and to a degree where the Los Angeles Lakers are right now is because they place too much emphasis on free agents. And if you look across the board at the teams that made deep playoff runs this year, almost all of them, their best players are homegrown talent. Now, there's exceptions to that, of course. You know, Chris Paul on the Suns, but Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, all homegrown. You see that with the Boston Celtics. Of course, you see that with Golden State as well. So the organizations that are placing, Memphis Grizzlies, another great example, the organizations that are placing an emphasis on actually drafting well, and you can go down the line year after year after year at how poorly the Knicks have drafted. That really is the issue. It's
That's
not
fine,
a free agent
JJ.
issue.
Yeah.
JJ, but stop bringing the Knicks up in the same breath as the Lakers. Regardless of what you want to say about the Lakers, they've got 6 titles this millennium. The New York Knicks haven't won a title in 50 years. Don't stop comparing the two, will you? Stop it.
I'm comparing where they're at right now in terms
They're
of
horrible.
not having homegrown draft picks. That was the comparison. I'm not comparing anyone.
Well, let
on the
me
Knicks
lose
with
with LeBron James.
I want to be very clear on
Let me lose with LeBron James instead of Julius
You'll
Randle. Okay, how
gladly
about
lose
that?
with LeBron James. All right, we got
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. On that note.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.